What is up, guys? Lone Hawk here today, and welcome back to Overwatch. In today's video, we're going to talk about something I haven't seen many YouTubers talk about. There are a lot of YouTubers talking about inherent problems with the game. A lot of people complain about Symmetra, a bunch of people have been complaining about how Zarya is potentially OP, but there's one hero I feel is getting overlooked by a majority of the community, and I think is in dire need of some changing, and that hero is Mercy. Mercy has been seeing a lot of buffs since the release of Overwatch, given that all the other supports in the game are more powerful than her, at least statistically, and most people would probably agree with that as well. But this video isn't just a Mercy is underpowered video. We're going to talk about that for some of it, but we're also going to talk about some things that are in Mercy's kit that just don't belong. They just don't seem like a good way to play Overwatch. So we're going to start off with why Mercy is worse than the other supports, in my opinion and in many people's opinions. For one, she is the easiest support to kill. Lucio has peel for himself, Zenyatta does damage, Ana does damage and has a sleep dart. Mercy, she's got nothing. She can fly away from enemies to a different teammate, and she has a pistol, but that pistol is extremely weak, so it doesn't do anything. This is actually a bigger problem than you may think. Because of the fact that Mercy is so easy to kill, it forces her to hide when she's waiting to use her ultimate. Because she can be picked off so easily, there's no reason for her to be in the fight. Whereas Lucio, Zenyatta, and even Ana can stay in the fight when they have their ultimates because they have ways of defending themselves and they don't have to risk as much just losing out on using their ultimate during a team fight. And on top of these weaknesses, you have the very obvious ones, one of them being that she's only a single target healer, and the other one being she has almost no utility. She has a damage boost, but Zenyatta has a damage boost as well if you really think about it with his Orb of Discord. Ana has her Sleep Dart and her Grenade, which are both utility, and Lucio has his right click, his boop, which is also once again utility, and his speed boost is unlike any other ability in the game. So with all of that utility, you're wondering why would you ever play Mercy? She has none of that. She just heals people. And she does so in a very dangerous way. She has to be very close to the people she's healing, and even though she has an escape, if you really think about it, that's not that great. The escape is limited, so she can only fly to a teammate, and if you really think about it, Ana doesn't ever need to be close. Would you rather have an escape or never have to be put in danger? And that's kind of the situation Ana faces. In a lot of situations, Ana can sit so far in the back, healing her team and damaging enemies, she doesn't need an escape, and if she gets caught out, she has a few utilities that will save her as well. So Mercy is obviously at a disadvantage here, especially at high levels of play in the pro scene, even above, diamond, maybe sometimes even platinum. I'm not sure. In ranked, she's going to see much less play and much less effectiveness because of all these blaring weaknesses. I've held out on one key part of her kit for a very specific reason, and I'm sure you've all noticed that's her ultimate. Now, I'm not going to claim her ultimate is weak. No. Mercy's ultimate is among the most powerful in the game. In fact, I've said it before, a 5-man revive is the best thing you can get in any situation, pretty much. It's the most valuable ultimate in the game. So what's the problem with it? Why is Mercy's ultimate bad? It's bad because of the other weaknesses in Mercy's kit. When you have your ultimate as Mercy, a good Mercy will normally hide. They may heal their team a little bit, but they're going to put themselves in a situation where they are at almost zero risk of being killed, other than maybe two wandering flankers. And this is the first huge problem with Mercy. There's really no reason I can think of having a hero in the game whose sole purpose is to hide. Hiding is totally counterintuitive to what Overwatch is, and it actually leads to another problem, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But for now, we really need to find a way to prevent Mercy from needing to hide. We need to find a way to increase her survivability, or maybe even change her ultimate so it seems more fitting for Overwatch, something that you'd want to stay in the fight for and not be completely across the map, far away, hiding to use. I've gone ahead and thought of some abilities and changes to her kit that will be tasteful to Mercy's lore that could potentially, fit her kit and wouldn't require a full rework that would also help address this problem. The first one I was thinking of is a simple E ability. I don't know what button that is on console, but most heroes have two different buttons for abilities, and while Mercy has her shift, which allows her to fly to teammates, she doesn't have an E ability. And I was thinking something along the lines of the heal summoner spell that exists in League of Legends. For those of you who are unaware, this summoner spell spell is something you can use, I believe, every few minutes, and when you use it, you get a very, small amount of health, maybe 25% of your maximum HP, and a little bit of a speed boost for like a second and a half. With some small modifications, I think this could work very well on Mercy. In League of Legends, the Summoner's spell Heal also heals any teammates in a small AoE around you. I don't actually think Mercy would need this. I think if she just received a heal that maybe healed her for 50% of her HP and give her a small speed boost, like a run speed boost, it could work. It could increase her survivability by a lot. That way, if there's not someone she can fly to, or maybe she needs to run to an angle to fly to someone, she can do so without getting completely destroyed right away. This would definitely allow her to stay in fights more and not have to hide, although I don't know if it would be enough to solve the problem. I think she'd still be pretty vulnerable given her current kit. Something else I've thought of that we haven't actually seen in Overwatch yet is a damage reduction. Somehow, maybe using Mercy's staff or a new ability, she can reduce the damage of a single target, maybe by 50%, for a second or two. This, I think, could be quite interesting and quite dynamic in the game. This could make it so a single flanker would have a much harder time taking Mercy out because she can reduce their damage by half and then retreat to a teammate, or it could be tactically used offensively on maybe someone who's ulting, like a Soldier 76 or someone who's been nano boosted. I think this sort of thing could work really well, and it also fits with Mercy's lore where she doesn't like to hurt people. I've tried to think of abilities that don't involve damaging. I know she has her pistol, which damages people, but I still wanted to stay true to the lore where she actually doesn't do that. Those are just two new things I think they could change to her kit that would make her a little more viable, a little more potential to stay in fights and not get killed right away. Now let's go over some suggested changes, or not suggested, more potential changes that could be made to her ultimates that would make her a little bit more dynamic in game. As of right now, in the healer category of Overwatch, you have two defensive ultimates, one being Zenyatta's Transcendence and the other one being Lucio's Sound Barrier, and one offensive ultimate, that being Ana's Nano Boost. Mercy's kind of fits into neither of those categories right now. When she revives people, it is a very offensive maneuver because it brings them back to life to attack enemies, but it's also defensive in the matter that it brings them back to life. So I think a new ultimate or any reworks or changes made to the ultimate should include this element of both defense and offense. The first change I thought would be potentially good on Mercy, actually there's no doubt it would be good, it would probably be OP, is one that makes her sort of like the Warlord from Destiny, the ultimate that he has, or whatever the ability is called, where he resurrects himself, bringing himself back to life, and dealing, increased damage as he does so. Except with Mercy, I think it could be a little bit different. Maybe when Mercy uses this ability, for the next 10 seconds, she has extreme health regeneration, and whenever she's healing or damage boosting a target, she actually heals in an AoE and damage boosts in an AoE. So let's think, if she holds left click on maybe her Roadhog, people within a 2-meter radius of that Roadhog would also receive the same amount of healing, or maybe even a lesser amount of healing, depending on how it was balanced. I think an ability like this would be very cool because it fits with their lore, it can be used defensively and offensively, and it's vastly different than anything we've seen in the game so far. And now, actually thinking back, this ability is nothing like the ability from the Warlord class in Destiny, and I actually don't think we'd need this ability to revive Mercy, although it could be implemented in, because if you have an ability that revives yourself, it would really take out a lot of counterplay, because there'd be no reason to kill the Mercy first if she can just revive herself. So maybe just an ability that empowers everything Mercy does for 10 seconds, or a set period of time that Blizzard deems balanced, would be pretty cool. And if you're asking yourself how this would make her more fun and more dynamic in game, she'd be able to stay with her team, because if she was ever put in danger, she could use this ultimate ability to help save herself, and then to convert that saving of herself into a push from her team. Because remember, this ability would not only increase her healing on allies and damage boosting on allies, and maybe even reduce her cooldowns, but it would also increase her passive health regeneration, which would increase her survivability, meaning she can stay in fights more. An ability like this would hopefully make her more viable at every level of play. These changes would also hopefully resolve the second problem I said we'd talk about, which is that Mercy's ultimate can actually be a detriment to her team. We all know trickling is bad in Overwatch. You don't want to trickle into the the enemy team because they will have a numbers advantage and they will destroy you. If you Mercy ult wrong, you can end up ulting not enough people, reviving only half of your team, and causing your team to trickle worse. Unlike Lucio's ultimate and Zenyatta's ultimate and Ana's ultimate, which are just static abilities that help your whole team survive longer. They wouldn't actually be used in a way that hurts your team. Hopefully you all understand where I'm coming from in today's video. If you did, be sure to leave a like down below. If you didn't, or you disagreed, or you want to make your own suggestions, be sure to leave a comment telling me why. Maybe we can have a discussion about it, and I will see you guys all later. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at LoneHawk with a 0, not an O, just because the other YouTubers are making fun of me, guys. I've got like no Twitter followers, and it makes me sad. Anyway, see you guys all later. LoneHawk out.